With me this morning is Janelle Zakour, who is a dietitian, who is a pastry chef, who is a chef, and so many other titles. I'm really excited because we are now starting this segment that's called What's on the Menu, where she would join us every week to give us dietary advice and tips on how to eat for certain situations. Now, last week we commemorated World Diabetes Day, and what is really important to diabetics is the diabetic diet. So Janelle is here to share more with me. Good morning, Janelle.
Good morning, Carrie.
Thanks for being here this morning. Really excited to have you here. We have such good friends, and I'm glad we could share this set here this morning.
Awesome.
So, diabetes is a big deal in Trinidad and Tobago, and there's some statistics about where we stand in the world. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, Trinidad is actually currently ranking 3rd in the world in terms of diabetes-related mortality. So we have a very high rate.
Tiny nation of Trinidad. We are number 3 in the world for diabetes.
So 12%, according to the Diabetes International Federation, 12% of our adult population has diabetes, and these are the ones that actually are recorded. So a lot of them are slipping under the radar and they have no idea. Because
they don't go get tested and find out things like that. What are some of the ways that you can get tested to know whether you're diabetic or not?
Well, that's up to your physician to send you for an A1C test, you know, or even a standard blood glucose testing, you know, and it would determine if your glucose levels are high. So what really causes the diabetes is an elevated state of your high blood sugar. So what you want to do is try to regulate that and bring it down. And we're actually going to talk about some ways we can do that. And a lot of it is related to fiber. So everything I'm talking about this morning is going to go back to fiber and lowering your overall sugar intake.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right, let's get right into it. What are some of the things we could have that to increase that fiber in our bodies? All
right, well, before we jump into the food, I just want to touch a little bit about what diabetes is.
Okay.
So diabetes is a disease state where your blood sugar is elevated, and it's where your insulin management is impaired. So for persons with type 1 diabetes, they don't produce, that's where the beta cells in the pancreas are damaged, so they don't produce sufficient insulin. Insulin is a hormone. And for persons with type 2 diabetes, they don't produce enough because of how much carbohydrates they're currently consuming.
Just to clear up a little bit, the insulin hormone, what exactly does it do?
Okay, I have to break this down a little bit more. So insulin kind of acts as a key to unlock your cells for the glucose to go into the cells to be used for energy. Right? So when there's too much insulin or too little insulin, it's kind of like opening a door with 6 keys at once. It's just not going to open. So in that case, you're going to have, glucose just floating around your bloodstream, wreaking havoc. Right? So a lot of the complications of diabetes could be things like kidney failure, which is very high in Trinidad. A lot of people are on dialysis due to unmanaged diabetes.
Right.
It can cause amputations, eye problems. There's a lot of side effects with diabetes.
That sounds terrifying.
The thing is, it's not terrible to live with, because a diabetic diet is, what healthy people should be eating anyway.
Okay.
A diet that's rich in whole grains.
This really isn't that complicated. Then,
no, it really isn't. Everybody should be following this.
All right, well, let's get into it a little bit. You were saying whole grains and what else?
Whole grains, fresh fruits and vegetables, the healthy fats, so things like avocado and the olive oils, lean meats, and in specific quantities. Now, Trinidadians like to overdo the amount of meat that they eat.
Yeah, we have a lot of meat now.
We do have a lot, yes, and that is becoming a problem because with that, you're replacing what you should be eating, the vegetables, the fruits, etc.
Okay, so what is the portion size of meat we should be having on a daily basis?
So most people, a serving size of meat is 1 ounce. Nobody's really going to count of 1 ounce at a time.
Right.
But generally, some people need between 3 to 6 ounces and no more.
In one day?
In a day.
And I find sometimes in meals, especially when you go to restaurants and stuff like that, you have like a
6-ounce
8-ounce
steak,
or 6-ounce steak.
Or
sometimes
even 12 ounce.
Exactly, as you know well enough.
Very well aware. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about ways we can reduce the amount of sugar that we're eating.
Okay.
Should we touch on stew chicken first?
Yeah, I think we should
Since we're on the topic of meat.
And we're in Trinidad, yes.
Right, so there are ways that we can make stew a little bit healthier. Instead of using the sugar and caramelizing the sugar in the pot and then adding the oil, and it's just I mean, it tastes good, don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But we can make this a little bit better. So last week in Port of Spain General, because I'm a volunteer there, on a Wednesday, we celebrated World Diabetes there, and we did some food demonstrations. And we did a pineapple juice stew chicken.
Pineapple juice stew chicken?
With pineapple juice, yeah.
So you substituted, so you didn't add any sugar itself?
No sugar. You're reducing the pineapple juice. So fresh 100% pineapple juice, you're reducing it.
Right.
And you know when you reduce something, these sugars start to caramelize. You will get that natural effect.
Right.
It just won't be sugar. You're going to get the benefits of the pineapple juice, the potassium. Okay. You may get a little fiber in there if you're using the fresh pineapple.
Right.
But it's going to be a little bit better for you than just the plain sugar. Plain sugar.
You know, just refined sugar itself.
So
well, this topic is so big and we have so much more to cover on it. So, well, this is a running segment, as we said, and you're going to be back here next week and every week on a Tuesday from now on for What's on the Menu. So I believe we're going to stick a pin in it here right now.
Okay.
And we will come back to this topic because it's so huge. You know, so next week we'll share a lot more with, you know, what the diabetic diet should be like.
Sounds